my dad does the big meal dinners, and he's like on strike, which is fine because he always does the big meal dinners. He's over it. Um, so my sister and I are like, oh, what do we do? And neither of us are particularly domestic. I'm sure. Hold your shock. I'm sure it's very shocking to find out that I do not have a domestic bone in my body. And so we're like, pizza and charcuterie?
Hey, that sounds good for Christmas Eve, you know?
That's Christmas dinner. So one of us is getting the pizza and the other is getting a cheese board, and we're calling it good.
There you go.
That's a definition Christmas dinner right there.
Right? I mean,
you could go with I was going with the Home Alone.
It's not like you went. It's not like you went completely non-classy. You're not serving Taco Bell.
It's true. Well, and in the years when we don't do like a traditional dinner, usually we go out to Chinese food. But our favorite Chinese place just recently was like burnt to the ground. So so we're just doing cheese board.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's always good. All right. So welcome to the Pirates of Drinax. We're going to be picking up where we left off last week. This is the only one of our shows that has decided to play through the holiday, so we hope you enjoy. Before we get started, I'd like to thank the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are partnerships or sponsors in any way. They're just products that we really like. If you're watching on Twitch, scroll down. You should see some tiles there. If you don't see the tiles, click on my profile image, and those tiles should pop up for you. And each one will lead you to these fine people's websites. The first on the list is the Speechless Bard. She and her husband make beautiful leather products for your tabletop role-playing games, such as leather covers for your core rulebooks. She has a full line of dice bracelets that are leather bracelets with dice shapes cut out on them, and they come in a variety of colors, metallics and glittery, and pretty much anything that you can imagine. She has a dice rolling mat that when you roll it up, it looks like a spell scroll. And all of these items can be customized in a number of ways. Pretty much anything that you would want, she can do. She does everything by hand, and she is an amazing, talented artist. Right down to the point where she actually handpicks the leather swaths. She doesn't order in bulk. If you're going to be ordering for a gift or even for yourself or any other time-sensitive reason, give yourself a little bit of extra time. She's in the UK, so it can take a while to cross the pond. Next on our list is the Fable Beard Company. Fable Beard Company makes beard products such as oils, balms, butters, and co-wash. They also have a full line of aluminum-free, eco-friendly deodorants, and they have spray-on colognes. And each of their scent profiles is a different fantasy character. Today, I am wearing the Harvester, which is one of their fall scents. It smells of crisp red apples. But they have many different fantasy characters. I'm sure that you can find one that will suit your needs. If you're a first-time purchaser, you can get a buy one, get one free option. Go to fablebeardco.com and create an account. And if you put 2 oils into your cart or a product in an oil, whichever, the second will be discounted to free if you use the code FIRST when you check out. The newest newest on the list for the Friends of the Greenwater Guildhall is Dogmight Games. Dogmight Games makes absolutely fabulous wooden products for your tabletop games, such as dice trays, player vaults, dice towers. They have a ton of stuff, and they customize literally everything. If you have an idea for customization, tell them, and they can probably figure out a way to do it. If you are thinking of purchasing, you might want to hold off until after the first of the year, or not, or maybe purchase something now and something later again after the first year. But they are going to be sending me some coupon codes, and I will put some codes out on our streams to help you get cool products for your tabletop. And if you are a fan of this Traveler game, we do have a website via Obsidian Portal. If you click on that link, it'll take you right to our website. And The adventure log is written in a manner of the Traveler News Agency that does news articles about the region. Some of it is indirect. It may not involve the travelers directly. It might just be stuff that's going on of interest in the area, but it is all pertaining to this particular game. If you like it, we would hope that you would give us a fan like, give us that thumbs up, and we hope to see you there. So last week, boy, you guys got a plethora of things last week. So on your to-do list, you're trying to get a 2,000-year-old part for their power regulator over on the world. And so you had decided that you were going to travel, rather than going and dealing with Birney, who probably has those parts, because they are the last bastion of the old Star Guard. Rather than deal with them, you decide to complete your mission, delivering Prince of Territorial to Tyokh, which you successfully saved his life and have made a friend. And you decided that you were going to go back to Drinax, because you know that Drinax has the Scholars Tower at the university is basically the oldest institution. And this is the Scholars Tower down here at the south end of the map, number 4. You know that the Scholars Tower, they have basically created a repository of all of the high tech that the Sindalian Empire had. And the Sindalian Empire, they were like TL-16 before they, went crazy and blew themselves up. But all of that information is there. So if you wanted a 2,000-year-old part manufactured, you could probably go there and tell them, hey, this is what we're looking for, and we need you to make this, and they could probably have that done. So that's what your plan was. And on the way, you stopped in Kteiroa, which is just on the other side of what would be considered the Aslan Herate colonies border. It is a backwater, frozen desert planet. Basically, it's one big snow sheet, and you discovered that you discovered a number of things. The first thing that you discovered is that there is a large amount of Aslan iHatei congregating on the planet. You didn't deal with any of those, but that they are camped somewhere near the spaceport. And when you went down to the spaceport, you were contacted by an Aslan male saying that his name was Utea. Is that right? Yes, Utea, who runs the spaceport, and they are trying to expand, but because of the limitations of the planet, and of course, the situation in general, they need power. And so his suggestion was that he would hire you to, if you can, you being pirates, if you can get your hands on, say, a ship of at least 400 tons and bring it back, that power supply should be more than enough to encompass all of their power needs. They also are going to need, what else was there? There was a water recycling system, and of course, lots and lots of pipe work. And along with this is that, of course, because they're Aslan and they're limited in their capabilities, both culturally and just because they're iHatei, they need your help to set the whole thing up once you have it. So you are kind of in the process of making plans for that. So my first question is, does any of you have Streetwise? Or possibly, if you don't have Streetwise, Carouse could work as well.
I have both.
Okay.
I have one gun.
Ching Shi, go ahead and make a streetwise check.
Okay.
And because it's Drinax, or the Floating Palace, I'm going to say go ahead and make that streetwise check with a boon. So roll 3, take the 2 highest.
8.
Okay. That is pretty much perfect. And I'll get back to you on that in just a moment. So Ching Shi goes off into the market area, which I believe, or the bazaar. Yes. So she's off shoveling around in the bazaar, talking to the number of traders and whatnot that deal with stuff in the Grand Bazaar. And Captain Beth and Keith, as you're stepping on, so Keith, your mission, of course, is to go to the Scholars Tower, and so go. Do you have Keith? Do you have diplomacy or diplomat?
Mine is a 0.
That's perfect. You can. How do you want to ask these guys? So basically, you go to the university, and there is this large university that's mostly empty. It's not like they're teaching a lot of classes. The only area that's really busy is the Scholars Tower itself. And a lot of these guys, they own these scholars from the Scholars Tower. They almost appear like monks. Like it's almost like a clergy kind of thing. They're wearing these white robes with these funny looking hats, and they've got the red with white or red with gold border thing around their neck. They look like clergymen. How would you like to request from them what it is that you're looking for? I'll allow you to think about how you want to ask for this part.
So, remind me what part it is.
So it is the regulator for a Sindalian power plant on a space station, and I mean it really is a know nothing part until you don't have one.
Right. So I guess I'd start out by being interested in the power system of the Sindalian space station.
Okay.
And how does that work? What can we do to what kind of technologies are used in such a system? And
okay.
Strike up a conversation about it, just to understand how it works.
I gotcha. That's a very good method. Go ahead and make a persuasion check. Do you have persuasion? Either just persuasion or diplomacy, and you can, of course, add your intellect to that, and you can make that roll with a boon to take the 2 highest.
All right. So I got 12.
Okay. So, I will come back to you on that. Actually, 12 is really good. So, Captain Beth and Rexar, you are making your way, dealing with, so the Harriers, this could be problematic. So the Harrier and the, of course, the Jabrobi, both are going to require some maintenance. Just, standard ship maintenance. And of course, this is going to have to come out of your copious slush fund. The Harrier is going to run 28,630 credits for maintenance. I'm sure that you probably have that available.
Yeah, we're fine.
And then the Jabrobi. The Jabrobi is going to run you 3,063 credits. It's clearly the cheaper of the two ships. You got the Rolls Royce needs an oil change, and then you have the Volkswagen that needs an oil change. So while you're signing the paperwork for the techs to go over and do their maintenance, and as soon as they're done, they'll have a inspection sheet to go ahead and give your chief engineer so that he can look over everything, make sure it's all cool. And coming down the ramp to the Royal Dockyards, where you always park your ships, is Admiral Rax. Or is he an admiral? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what he'd be an admiral of. He doesn't really have a whole lot. Let's see here. Well, they just have him listed as Lord Rax, but you know that Lord Rax is the he's the commander of Drinax's Star Guard, as it is. And right now, Drinax's Star Guard consists of like a couple of free traders, a couple of, scout ships. That's about it. I think there's probably a system defense boat in there somewhere. It certainly is not an Imperial Navy that you would think. But Lord Rax, you are, if you remember, you should be aware, he didn't want you guys to get the Harrier. He wanted the Harrier as his flagship. And instead, King Oleb gave you guys the Harrier to concoct this, what Lord Rax believes is a ridiculous plan of pirating the Trojan Reach to somehow make Drinax a kingdom again. He comes up to you and he says, Captain, I don't know if you've been aware, but there has been some Aslan activity down on the planet's surface.
Yes.
He says, Aslan aren't supposed to be on Drinax, but we've been told by several of the Vespexers that they have spotted Aslan scout ships on the surface. I would suggest that you deal with this, or perhaps you'll turn tail and run like pirates usually do.
I'm actually just looking for some hot babes to wash the Harrier. For you, what? Are we aware of the Aslans on the surface? I don't remember. I'm sorry.
The what now?
The Aslans on the surface, are they our friends?
They're not. You have no knowledge of why they would be there. I mean, you can guess, but they weren't sent there by you. Now, Vespexers. So, if you remember the whole back history of the reason why the Floating Palace is such a not so much a palace anymore and more of looks a lot more like a homeless shelter, is because the
surface is like irradiated, isn't it?
Well, yeah, partially. So about 200 or 300 years ago, the previous king of Drinax got it in his head that he could start trying to tax any vessel that went through his space, and if you didn't pay the tax, then his ships would attack you. And he did that to the Aslan. And the Aslan, the Raif clan, said, oh, really? This is what we think of you. And their fleet came to Drinax, did a planetary bombardment on the planet, but they purposely missed the floating palace. And their thing was, oh, well, you think you're so special? You can keep your palace and float over a dead world. Well, the Vespexers are actually survivors from this planetary bombardment. And they have been eking out a Mad Max-style livelihood on the planet itself, living in underground warrens and things like that. And they they do still come up to the flying palace or floating palace to deal with courtly matters, but for the most part, they're kind of on their own. The court does not really see Drinax currently as being something that they would be able to go back and re-inhabit, and so, but they do still see the Vespexers as being a part of the kingdom. And so their recent report was from these Vespexers that they have seen Aslan scout ships on the surface.
All right, and this guy's like the cop. The cop is like the floating palace only, or is
Lord Rax is the commander of the kingdom of Drinax's navy, as it were. He is.
So is he trying to get me to do his job?
Essentially, yeah, kind of.
Okay, I guess that's what I would ask. Like, why are you asking me to do your job?
He says, well, you are...
You have the ship he wanted.
Yeah, he says, you clearly have the better vessel for tracking such things, which is unfortunate. It would be used much more in a utilitarian fashion were it my command ship.
Shame it's not.
Okay, so you're jealous of the ship. All right, I'll go solve your problems for you. Don't worry.
Can we get his pay as well, Captain?
As you are, he didn't really give you a whole lot of information. He basically directs you to speak to the king. And as you head to the palace court, you are kind of flagged over from an individual named who you've met before. He is Casil of the Oroif. It is pretty open knowledge that he is an Aslan. I don't want to say nobility, because Aslan don't really have nobility as such, but he was a well-to-do, high-up Aslan. Probably, if not an Aslan lord, clan lord himself, he was at least a first son. That something happened and he was kicked out of the clan. And so he is basically living here on the palace, on the floating palace, and he more or less has become a part of the court and gives information to King Oleb about Aslan matters and how Drinax can navigate those issues. Unfortunately, King Oleb, being who he is, doesn't always listen to the advice that Casil gives him. And so Casil kind of sees Rexar and waves you guys over to him. He tells you that it was his knowledge. He was there when the Vespexers came and reported these Aslan scout ships. He thinks that these are iHatei scout ships, and it is imperative that we stop them, because if their scouts decide that this is fertile land, or that it's land at all, they will go back and tell an iHatei warband, and the next thing you know, Drinax is going to have a fleet of ships coming in, trying to go down and settle the surface of the planet, and of course the planet belongs to Drinax.
All right.
That's what
That sounds-
invasion.
Sounds reasonable. Thing. Makes sense.
He tells you he more or less he says if you don't want to go and deal with royal court matters, you can take this information and run with it. And he gives you the coordinates of where this Vespexer says that he saw these Aslan scout ships. I mean, of course, if you want to, you're more than welcome to go talk with the king and the court.
Yeah, they might know something else relevant that might make this course of action a bad idea or whatever. I feel like I should check in with them while I'm here because I'm not at Drinax too often either.
Yeah, and you got a stack of money to hand him too, so.
Yeah.
So now we've got the ship part, the spice run, and doing the job on the surface of Drinax.
Right.
Am I missing anything on the to-do list?
That's it so far.
So far, it's just those 3 things. Okay, I'm just making sure I don't forget anything.
Right. So, Qingxi, you are moving your way around the bazaar, and you come across a well-known trader merchant in the bazaar. You've met him before. I think you guys have actually purchased parts from him. His name is Rishondo.
Okay.
And Rishondo is not the most ethical person that you've ever met.
Okay.
And he tells you...
So I'm not going to judge.
Right, yeah. I mean, don't cast stones. He lets you in on a trade route, or a trader, rather. It is a very old ship known as a tough trader. This ship has been around for hundreds of years. It's an old Sindalian design. This particular ship may actually suit your needs, and it is rumored to be a Dustspice trader. Oh yeah, there was that other one too. The Dustspice, if you were able to get a load of... There is a 4th thing for your to-do list. If you pirate a load of Dustspice and bring it...
I got the spice run. That was one of the things.
Okay, yeah.
So it might be something else that I'm missing.
So there's spice run, there's reactor part, there is getting a ship of at least 400 tons, and now there's this issue of scouts on Drinax.
Okay.
So those 4 things. He tells you that it is known that this particular tough trader, and he gives you the name. It is the Best Way Queen, and it is rumored to be a Dustspice trader, and he shows you on his mobile comm what this thing looks like. Let me find it. So here is a picture of this really old boat.
Okay. So the Dustspice guy, I keep calling it Spice because I do, but the Dustspice guy is not far from the ship part.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Near.
Yeah, Tassy Two-Toes is a part of the Aslan underworld on Tyokh, which is just a jump away from the world.
Okay. I'm just trying to create our circuit, our to-do list. Okay.
And then this are the stats. The Tough Trader. It's a Balin Frontier transport, known as the Best Way Queen. It is 300 tons, which really should be. I mean, Utea told you that he wanted at least 400 tons, but a 300 ton. The reality is how much power it's putting out. If you look at the fusion generator on the Balin Frontier transport, it puts out way more power than most 400-ton ships. So at 210 power points, this should solve many of your needs.
Cool.
And
How do I steal it?
well, that of course is Rashando kind of gets a grin on his face. Well, that is of course up to you how you go about such things. I would know nothing of piracy.
Of course not. Of course not. So who owns the ship?
That is a very good question. Let me take a look.
Because we got to do a little like hand terminal switchy changey so that we have keys to the ship. A little sleight of hand.
It is currently captained by a man named Gregory Belichev.
Okay. Gregory.
Or Grigory Belichev, sorry.
Okay. Any notion of where this Gregory hangs out?
It is said that he usually runs up and down the Sindalian main.
Okay.
And I'll show you that here in a moment. Yeah. So, Keith, this you have been very successful at bringing up or striking up a conversation with this scholar, and he brings you into the grand library of the Scholar's Tower. And he's looking over the schematics that you currently have and kind of comparing them to notes, and he finds the reactor in the library. And he says, oh, this was a standard Sindalian design at the height of the Empire. I mean, there's full schematics right there.
Awesome. What would it take to build one of these?
Well, he says all of that, the Scholar's Tower is capable of manufacturing it. The issue, of course, is a matter of money. And he tells you that 800 credits will build this part.
I will happily pay 800 credits for this part.
Okay. All right. So he tells you that it will take probably about a week for them to manufacture this part. So essentially, by the time you're done doing all this other crap that you're trying to do, or somewhere halfway through all this other crap you're trying to do, this part should be manufactured for you in brand spanking new factory condition.
Well, I'll be back.
Okay.
Thank you.
He says, "Oh, you're very welcome. I haven't seen one of these in ages. I look forward to making it."
That's great.
So here. So the captain and Rexar, you make your way to the court, and you come in, and the entire throne room area has kind of been cleared out. So the courtroom area, or the throne room area is huge. It's, the size of a couple of gymnasiums. And at one end, of course, is the imperial throne, which is this large, uncomfortable looking chunk of blackened metal that rumor has it that the throne is actually made from ships that the Sindalian Empire destroyed while carving out their empire. Whether or not that's true, who knows? And the court has been cleared out, and in the center of the room, a stage has been erected, and you can see that there are in front of, on the lower level, in front of the stage, there's a very small orchestra that is attempting to play classical style music, and they're not perfect. They're not terrible, but they're not as high a quality as you would expect. Meanwhile, on the stage, you can see a number of people, mostly women, but there's a couple of men, dressed up as ballerinas. Then they are conducting a ballet, and they're not that great either. Some of them, the ballerinas are much worse than the orchestra. You are wondering if some of them have any dance experience at all. So, and around this entire situation, there are numerous seats, and of course a area cordoned off for the king and Princess Rao, and the king is bellowing at the stage, "No, that's not how this particular story goes." And Rao's saying, "Father, you let them finish the ballets." "But they changed the story. That's not how this is supposed to go. Look at that one. She can't even dance." And Rao's going, "Shh, Father, shush." And standing next to him is this person that you are fairly certain is a Vespexer. They are, Vespexers don't take their helmets off. It doesn't matter how perfect the environment is. They leave their helmets on all the time. And it's kind of like they kind of look like sand people, Tusken Raiders from Star Wars. They're wrapped up, lots of clothing. Clearly there's a respirator system going on. Very narrow eye slit in the helmet, with the respirator going to what appears to be some kind of still suit. She's got a rifle, but the end, instead of a bayonet, it looks like it's got a very long spear point on it. She's very primitive looking, and she kind of leans forward and she says, "My lord, if I may, the issue with the scout ships." Yes, Lord Rax is on it." And he sees you guys walking up and he says, "Well, it's about bloody damn time. Lord Rax has been looking for you. Did he tell you the situation with these damned Aslan?"
Yeah, basically, I wanted to see what your take on it is.
"Well, clearly these iHatei are trying to come and take over my planet. We can't allow that." He says, "But I'll tell you something. I would be extremely pleased if you could bring one of those scout ships back to me whole. Your Aslan Rexar here, he can fly it, can't he? He's an Aslan."
Sure.
We'll do our best.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said all Aslan can do anything Aslan related, obviously.
That's what I thought. You're a go-getter, son. And Casil kind of just rolls his eyes, and he kind of leans over and he whispers to Rexar. He goes, "Just simply do what you can."
So the consensus is blow them all up. That's what everybody wants so far.
So it's about that time that Ching-Shi and Keith make their way into the court, and you see this ballet going on, and one of the ballet dancers actually trips and falls down, and this actually makes him quite happy. He's laughing and clapping. "Bravo! Do it again! Do it again!"
Yeah, it sounds awesome. Okay, compared to normal ballet, like
This may actually be more amusing. And so the Vespexer, and I'm trying to remember her name. And for some reason, I cannot find it. Hold on here. I mean, she's not hugely important, but she's kind of important. Yes, the Vespexers, right. Interesting. So, Keith, the scholar that you dealt with, he is an elderly master at the Scholar's Tower. His name was Scholar Voha. There it is. Chieftain Galx is the Vespexer in the at the court right now, and she basically gives you all the information that Casil already gave you. There's not a whole lot more. She does tell you that her scouts have reported. They initially reported that there was a Aslan scout ship, and what you would call a iHatei show, flying overhead. However, her scouts have now reported that they have found a second scout ship that has landed on the surface, and the Aslan scouts are attempting to disguise it by shoveling sand over the top of it to camouflage it. And she gives you coordinates. Are you muted? There we go.
That's towards the captain, right?
No. Can't hear the captain.
All right, is it working now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just had to re-sign in. I don't know. Would the sensor scanners on our ship be able to detect like ships under a bunch of sand?
Might be a little bit more difficult because of the radiation and the silicate matter of the reflecting sensor scans back, but it should be doable. Yes.
Okay, cool. Because like, what if there's like a ton of them or something? So, all right, that's really good information. I'll thank this person. I forgot their name.
Chieftain Graux.
I'll thank them. Yes.
and she gruffly nods to you and kind of she does something that only it's kind of like a combination salute and welcoming you with honor kind of move, where she taps her rifle / spear on the ground and then moves it over to her left chest and nods to you, and then she decides it's her time to leave this farce of a ballet. You could tell by her movement and actions that she thinks this entire ballet thing is the most ridiculous shit she's ever seen in her life. I mean, Vespexers don't waste their time with this crap. They're too busy, trying to find clean drinking water and surviving. So Qingxi, we'll start with Qingxi. Do you want to give a report on what you found to the captain?
Absolutely, I do. Though I acknowledge that it sounds like this is a little bit more pressing.
Very likely, yeah.
But, there's a dude named Gregory who has a ship we need to steal, probably. That'll make getting the spice a lot easier.
Well, and it's a 2-for-1. So if you theoretically, this ship will have a hold full of Dustspice, which is good for you for on one front.
Oh, the hole's full. That is information I didn't get.
Well,
I thought it was just a trader that carried it, not that it was currently.
Well, I mean, it's a 300-ton Frontier trader, so he's probably going to stuff his hull or his cargo hold, to the gunnel. So.
Okay.
That is awesome. Thank you, Ching Chi.
Hi, Captain.
And then Chief Clark, you can give your report.
So I have ordered a part for the world, and it is pretty. It shall be ready in about a week.
Is there a way that we could put a secret compartment on it, put a note? So we'll find out the truth.
You're still wanting to rip that Band-Aid off, huh?
Like the tablet they put, or the plaque they put on the first Voyager with like the Vitruvian Man and like the happy birthday song or whatever it was, and examples of binary code, like all that stuff that went on that first.
Yeah, that way all the aliens could say, "Stop sending us mixtapes and unwarranted nudes."
I don't know what it's on the note, but yes, I want a secret compartment if possible, because I gotta know what happened.
Well, I guess I don't know. It depends on. I mean, something like that could probably be done, but the bigger question is, I mean, do you need it? Because the question then is, are you going to deliver this part yourselves, or are you going to order one of your many other ships to deliver it?
I guess we could. I don't know. I'll think it over while I'm murdering invaders.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, mull that over. Yeah, you got a week before the Scholars Tower is going to have this part for you, so. So you're just going to go back to the Harrier and go check this thing out?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can purchase grenades around here, right?
Well,
I want to do that while we're up here.
Certainly. In fact, Rashondo has a number of items that in his stall at the bazaar. He's got. There are 5. He's got 5 fragmentation grenades. Unfortunately, he only has 1 stun grenade. And he has 3 smoke grenades.
Okay, I haven't used a smoke grenade before.
You should have that Harry Potter moment when you pull all the change out of your pocket and go, "I'll take the lot."
Well, a smoke grenade is good on.
I'll just take all of it.
A smoke grenade could be good on 3 different fronts. So on the most common use for a smoke grenade is not what you might think. A smoke grenade is great for popping it and throwing it to designate a landing site so that it can be seen from the air.
Oh, like the Rock.
Right.
Great idea.
The second most common use for it is to pop a smoke grenade so that it obscures the area, and you would get a boon on your stealth checks because nobody can see through it. And the third, which a lot of people don't think about, is that if you pop a smoke grenade, lasers are going to have a hard time going through that.
All right, yeah, I'll take the lot.
Okay. So he tells you.
What can I have for this many?
Let's see here.
Then we gotta split them up.
So the frag grenades normally go for 30 apiece. The
So we're
smoke.
gonna get a bulk discount.
Right. The smoke grenade's only 15, and the three smoke grenades are only 15 each. The one stun grenade usually goes for 30. Let's see here. Yeah, he says that he'll give you a discount. He'll sell you the whole lot for 200 credits.
Awesome. Okay, everybody grab a frag grenade. Does anybody who wants a smoke or a stun grenade? Because we can all have one of those.
I'll take the stun grenade.
Okay. I guess let's get smoke.
I want to be somewhere where I can use my sniper rifle.
That's my new choice. Long shot.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. There's the Harrier. Okay, so sorry that this map isn't better. It suffers from the same problems as before. But I think we can make it work. Yeah, I was joking with some people from the Traveler RPG group that keeping all of these threads from unraveling has become like a full-time job. Because there's just so many, so much stuff going on, especially right now with you guys having like 4 different quests going on and all of that. And of course, that doesn't look like what I'm looking for. There we go, 8, 9, and 10. Down here, this is where Keith Clark's at. Okay. So this is the Harrier. I don't think we've bothered using deck plans for the Harrier, but its bridge is all the way up here at the top. Gunner position, the gun turrets are automated from the bridge, which is why Rexer is on the bridge. So you take off and you go back, you go down, towards the hard deck. Ching-Shi, make a piloting plus dex check. You guys saw the message that you got 2 skill points from last week, right?
No.
Yes. Yeah, so everybody gets 2 skill points from last week that you can spend Well, save them for now, and you can spend them at your leisure. Yeah, you got 1 skill point for completing the Borderland run and another for good role play.
Right on. So I rolled 9.
Okay. Wow. Made it by the skin of your teeth, but you
I know.
come down and swoop in. Who's doing the sensor scan?
Probably me. I got good sensors. I got 2.
Okay, so go ahead and make an electronic sensors plus either your choice of EDU or intellect.
14.
Wow. Okay, so because this thing was buried, it was a difficult check, and you drilled it with 4 over, which counts as an average success. So you are able to pick up that, yes, there is a ship hiding under the sand. Hold on a moment. Let me find this. Because it's under the sand, it is difficult to determine make and model. But it appears to be around 100 tons. What would you like to do?
Let's see here. How big is our ship? We're 400 tons? All right.
That's a good question. Let me double check. I want to say 200, but I might be wrong. Yeah, 200 tons.
Okay, so we got a better ship than theirs. What? Oh, okay. I thought everything closed. I'm sorry. The window minimized suddenly. It was weird. All right.
Well, shit, this might actually be a better deck plan. I'll have to fix that next time. Anyways. So, yeah, you're 200 tons. So you outweigh them.
Do we land on them?
Turn around and put them in the drag plume.
We could just start firing, or we could try and capture them and take their ship. So, taking the ship's gonna be harder. Any opinions?
King Olaf wanted the ship. I think it would be reasonable to do so.
Okay. I guess maybe we really should land on them. Just to keep it from going away.
Okay.
Alright, let's put them down there. Let's do it.
So, Qing Shi, make a piloting check.
Okay. I promise I'll do better this time. No, I won't. I'll do exactly the same. 9.
Okay. Hold on here. Oh my god, I forgot to put this in. I'm shocked. All right, well that's okay. So you guys Qing Shi starts to bring the ship down, and just as you're starting to come down on this location, Captain, you see your electronics board light up. You have been scanned, and a iHatei show class scout ship literally lights up their engines and busts out of the sand. You just see this big plume of sand come up as this ship takes off. So, dum. I'll just pop this right here.
Rex, are you ready in the turret?
I can shoot up the engine and we can just drag it back.
Lock and loaded.
We do
I'd
that.
really harpoon it and drag them back. I don't think so.
That's so weird. Huh. Well, it doesn't matter because we don't bother with... I've learned my lesson. I'm not doing maps for space battles. There is no such thing as a map that's big enough. So this guy will work. All right. So, the first question is, Beth. Actually, hold on. Hold on. Yeah, it's been a while since we shot anything. Oh, they updated the leadership skill, just so that you know. So when you make a leadership skill, instead of handing out a number of boons, it just gives a DM +1 per each one. So the target number is 8. If you roll a 10, then you can give out 2 +1s, or you can give a +2 to one person, or however you want to do it. The negative is true too. You can give them a -1.
Okay.
Tactics. How very strange. Still trying to figure out where everything is in this new book. Oh, I bet I know where it's on. I bet it's... Here we go. So, Ching-Shi, you can make a tactics check. Tactics plus intellect.
Okay, I'd really like to do this better than the last one. Tactics plus intellect. Jiminy Cricket. Okay, 4, 5, 7.
Okay. So, yeah.
Sorry, I don't think one.
Yeah. So, then go ahead.
Drinking, apparently.
So that gives you a -1. You had rolled a 9, which makes your initiative 0. The Aslan get a +1. Wow. The Aslan iHatei show gets a 7. So their whole thing is they are busting ass trying to get away. they only have thrust 2. You guys have thrust 6. So the first thing that they are going to do on their turn they are going to fire their triple turret with pulse lasers as they try to bust out of here. And they are going to miss completely. So no problems with that. Qingxi, what would you like to do? Well, I guess, Captain Beth, what would you like to do? Do you want to make a leadership role? Do you want to jam communications?
I was going to say, I think I've done enough by blowing chunks all over this bad boy. So I think it's really time for Captain to take over, as I am apologizing profusely in the background.
Okay, I will attempt to provide leadership to the crew.
So it'd be leadership plus intellect.
Nine.
Okay, so you can hand out a +1 to whoever you'd like.
I'm handing out to Rexar, because he's so shooting.
Okay, so Qingxi, this iHatei show scout is taken off at max thrust 2. What would you like to do? Are you going to match your speed, or are you going to try to overtake him? You have you've got thrust 6, so
Right, but can Rexar take a shot now?
yeah, you could.
Or do we get to decide both? Like, can I pursue and?
Yeah,
Okay.
or you can attempt to pursue. You could try to give an advantage to Rexar's shot. However, you would like to do it.
Yeah, I think since they haven't gotten to, I don't think they would have gotten that far out of range if
No.
they're just starting up.
Right.
So, and since we outship them, I think that I would rather just try and strategically support Rexar.
Okay. Go ahead and make a piloting plus dex check.
Yes, that's more like it.
And don't forget, you got a +1 on that too. Oh no, you got a plus. No, Rexar has a +1. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's okay because I got 17.
Okay.
So that was 12.
Wow. Okay.
12.
So
That's fine.
that gives Rexar a total of +9 to his attack. Actually, +9 and a +1 for fire control. So you are at a +10 to your attack. The question is, Rexar, are you manning the particle barbette or are you in the missile turret?
Particle barbette.
Okay. High yield particle barbette, which means I need this book. Let's see here. Weapons and screens. Man, we're using all the books. Let's see here. Actually, it's a +11 to hit because the particle barbette is listed as accurate. All right, go ahead and make your attack at +11. I don't know how you could miss, but
12 plus 11.
yeah. So go ahead and roll 4D for damage. And actually, that is an automatic critical hit. Let me find the critical tables. They are here. They are here.
So there is a puff of smoke where, in the shape of a ship,
Well, I was targeting the engine, and I feel like it just went through the ship.
Kind of. So what's your damage?
15.
Okay.
That crit, does that double the damage, or?
Ooh. I'm sorry, how much was that?
It was 3 3s and a 6. So 15.
Okay. Yeah, ouch. Roll 2D, and I'll tell you where the critical hit.
That's 10.
Oh no. You hit their drive system.
yeah, you did.
This ship is not going to be jumping. You just winged them. So you took out their J drive in one shot.
Wonderful.
So Beth, on your sensor screens, it's coming up that this iHatei Show class scout is tech level 13, 100 tons, has thrust 2. It is capable of jump 4. Has a triple turret with pulse lasers. It has a docking space and an air raft. It's a pretty typical scout ship, but it seems to have a lot higher jump score than even the Jabrobi. And now I can't jump at all. All right. So, Keith Clark, did you want to stay in engineering or make your way up to the bridge to take over the other turret?
I think it makes sense for me to stay in engineering at this point.
Okay.
I'll leave it up to the captain.
We're doing pretty good. Rexer's kind of got it covered, I think.
Pew, pew.
I'd like to go make sure underneath my pilot chair, I want to check and make sure that my breaching gun is there.
Oh yeah.
Since we got a ship that's dead in the water, I'm just gonna tap my breaching gun and make.
Well, their maneuver drive is still good, but they can't jump. So yeah. Okay. The iHatei Show is kind of panicked. Their captain. Their captain's keeping their maneuver drive floored at thrust 2. And he is going to deliver orders. Oh, no. Oh, no. So, all right. Their engineer is going to attempt to... Their engineer is going to attempt to make repairs. Actually, that's not too bad. Okay, so he's going to be able to repair the J drive, and we'll have it operational next round. The astrogator is going to try and plot a course. And he's having a hard time doing that. Let's see here. No, he's not. He is able to plot a course, so he will be ready when the time comes. And you know what? The captain's going to shoot the triple turret at a -2 or -3. And he technically gets an exact 0. So he shoots wide and like You know, you see these 3 pulse lasers tear up the sand below you. So, Carrie, piloting, what would you like to do?
Well, I would like to, I mean, of course, we don't know that their drive is about to be repaired, their jump drive is about to be repaired since that's happening on the ship, but I definitely want to increase thrust to overtake them
Okay.
before they have the opportunity to jump.
Okay. So before you make that roll, Captain, what do you want to do?
I think I'm gonna hop into the other turret.
Okay. So we'll put the captain over here in the other gun turret. It's so weird. I don't... Hold on, let me check something. Oh. That's why. Oh, that's better. Okay, so go ahead and make your piloting roll, Ching-Chi. Let's see what shakes out of this.
12.
That's pretty good. That is going to, with fire control, let's see here. With fire control, that will give Rexar a +4 for particle beams if you want to fire again.
Would love to hit the drive again.
Okay.
Same slot. +4.
Mm-hmm.
13.
So you don't hit the drive exactly, but that is an average success. Go ahead and roll 4D for damage.
Do I add dex to turrets?
Yes.
And I forgot to add my gunner too. So that is actually a 16.
Okay. So you do hit the drive. Well, actually, we'll find out. Roll 4D first, and let's see how much damage you do.
40. Uh-oh.
I scraped the paint right off.
11.
Okay. No, that still is a good shot. And you didn't roll boxcars, so roll 2D for critical hit location.
These dice that you gave us were really good. Then the ones you those are for me.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The dice you gave us before were really good. And I'm convinced that the new ones you send us are gonna roll nothing but ones.
Have any of you gotten the package yet?
I got it.
You did?
Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
I haven't yet. Looking forward to it.
What about Corey? Did you get it?
Nope.
Okay. It's on its way. So, what'd you get for damage, Rexar? Nice. 11. Or, I'm sorry, not damage. What'd you get for your 2D roll?
9.
Oh, so you actually do hit the drive system. Your particle beam goes through, and you see parts of the engineer shoot out the other side of the ship.
That's not good.
I wanted to hit the engine, not the engineer, but that works.
that's workable. Beth, what would you like to do? You've got the missile turret.
Shit, their ship's kind of ruined, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hurting.
Fuck, I'll fire. I'm just trying to think of ways to target. It's okay. Alright. Yeah, it's a missile, you're right. There's not a whole lot of carefulness involved in it. I got a 10.
Okay. Missiles. This is just a standard missile. and you hit. Roll 4d for damage.
Wow. All right. 17.
Well, that is not good for the scout ship. Your missile slams into him, and you see the scout ship just start to spiral down towards the ground. They are going to crash. And they do indeed crash. Hitting the sand hard and spewing parts of this iHatei show all across the wasteland for, probably a good half a mile.
All right. We should give the coordinates to that one guy. The guy who wanted the ship.
Well, did you want to go down and board the ship?
Oh, yeah, I guess we should check it out. We could do that.
Okay. So, Qingxi, go ahead and make a piloting plus dex check.
Okay. 13.
Yeah, so you set down nearby. Who all is going to go and examine this ship? Is everybody going?
We'll definitely go.
Yeah, I'll probably go.
I should be very battle dressed, so yeah.
Probably not a bad idea, especially considering that you're stepping out, onto a partially irradiated world.
Just a quick costume change, and then you'll be ready.
Right? Yeah, a good half an hour or so for you guys to get into your battle dress and combat armor. Yeah, I'm a derpy derp. I can't believe that I forgot to put this map in there, but that's okay. It's not that big, so it really doesn't matter. So you guys get out and make your way over to what's left of this iHatei show. iHatei shows are kind of shaped like, almost like a horseshoe shape. They look at... Anybody ever play the old Wing Commander series back in the day? They look a lot like a Kilrathi fighter.
No, really.
Yeah, they which is funny because the Kilrathi were also cats. But anyways, they are a horseshoe shape, kind of like a Cylon Raider with a U cut out in the middle of it. And this, there's parts of this. It's just smoldering wreckage at this point. But you do find the airlock is still intact. Do you guys want to cut it open? Do you want to hack it? What do you want to do?
Do you feel like hacking it or not really?
I was thinking breaching gun, personally, but...
Oh, yeah, you're going to
That is a good idea. All right, so who's got the breaching gun?
Qingxi.
All right, Qingxi, you can make your gun combat plus dex check. Did she step away for a moment? Quite possibly.
Qingxi, can we hear you?
No, I was muted. I got an 8.
Okay, so you spray this thing around the edges of the airlock. Go ahead and roll your damage for your gun.
Okay. So it's AP5.
Right.
What do I do with AP? I didn't.
So AP5 ignores 5 points of armor. So if you fired this at, for some reason, if you fired this at Rexar at his battle dress, it would ignore 5 points of his battle dress armor.
Okay.
Or basically go through 5 points.
Let's see. 13, 14.
Okay. So she uses the breaching gun to kind of go around the edges of the door. And with 14, the airlock door falls in. You see the inner airlock door has been wrenched open, and you can kind of step through. The entire interior is pretty wrecked. You can see that directly coming into the airlock, you come out and there is a passageway that goes to the right or left. Directly to your left, when you step out, is another iris door. And when you look to the right, about 6 meters away, you see another iris door leading what you believe to be to the bridge.
We go left.
Okay. So you get the, obviously Rexar in his battle dress and the captain in her battle dress. You guys get the iris door open. Takes you a minute, but you're able to crank this thing open manually. You come into what appears to be a common area. And there is, from this common area, you see 3 doors. There is a door to the aft of the ship. There is a door that just right to your right from the iris valve, there's a door that goes to somewhere. And then to your left, about 3 meters ahead, towards the aft, and leading to in the same direction as the airlock, is another door on your left-hand side. So which of those 3 doors would you like to go into?
Left.
In the common area, you see that the crash has basically overturned their galley, so there are not a lot of foodstuffs, but you see Aslan MRE packs laying around. The table's completely overturned. The chairs are upside down. One of the chairs is just completely shattered. So, I'm sorry, which door did you want to go into?
Left.
Okay. So you open the door to the left and you find, well, you can't open the door to the left. It is key code locked.
Ah. All right. Then not the right door, but the other one.
The one going aft?
Yeah.
Okay. That door is opens easily, and when you guys went, so Captain Beth, Keith, and Ching Shi, when you look in this door, you're like, what the fuck? And you have seen something similar to this, but not on this scale. Rexar, you look in and you're like, oh, it's their shrine. So on the Harrier, you know that one of your staterooms has been set up by Rexar as an Aslan shrine, and it is pretty standard that all Aslan ships have a shrine. Aslan don't worship gods per se, but they do offer thanks and exaltation to their ancestors. And that's kind of part of this. The other half of that is that Rexar actually has a little leather bag that he keeps on his belt or somewhere on him that has, it's like a Boda bag that has small tokens, things that he would store in this bag to honor his ancestors. There might be, a coin or a finger bone of an enemy or, whatever is stored in this little bag. But the shrine itself is set up to basically allow the Aslan on board to go and meditate and, I guess, pray to their ancestors for guidance.
Rock poetry.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Even in its destructive nature, you can see that there are Aslan poems written in chalk and murals and all sorts of warrior art all over the walls of this place. Some are better than others. I mean, kind of looks like a 1-year-old cat got a hold of a crayon and went nuts.
So we got the door to the right, and that's what's one in here.
So there's a door that leads to the 4 that's left, and then of course there is the armored and electronically locked door leading to the starboard. And of course the way that you came back to the 4.
Yeah, let's peek in the door that we didn't look at.
Okay. So you open up that door, you kind of crank it open, and you find that it is a double occupancy stateroom. There is a bunk, a double bunk. So essentially, this is a cramped scout ship. You're used to being in a cramped scout ship, being on the Jabrobi recently for quite some time. This is even more cramped than that. They only have 1 stateroom, so 2 crew members can sleep while another one has bridge duty. So, yeah, this is a cramped stateroom. There is a fresher in the corner, and just, a double bunk and a set of lockers for personal items.
Did any of them foolishly write the electronic code on something?
No.
Damn, alright.
But I mean, you guys can try to hack the door if you'd like.
Hey, yeah, I'll be happy to try to hack that door.
Okay.
Do it.
So, electronics computers.
Electronics computers plus either EDU or intellect.
10.
All right, so you are able to bypass the security on the door, and you get it open. It is the ship's locker. Let me find that. I will tell you what you can take from their locker. No, it does not have Aslan battle dress. Before you ask, but
Dang it, because I took another extra vac suit so that now I can have join the battle dress party. I didn't have enough vac suit before. Oh well.
there are 3 Aslan vac suits. They offer protection 6. They are TL10, and they require vac suit 0. They're just vac suits. They're a space suit. There's nothing really spectacular about them. But you also find 3 Yahil auto rifles. And the thing with Yahil auto rifles is that they have this weird design on them that it actually takes 2 magazines and it will feed from both. So their magazine capacity is 64 rounds and it has auto 2. And they do 3D damage. I will have, if you want that, I will have stats for you on that. They're okay. They're not fantastic, but they're okay. And that's all you find in there.
Do you need a vac suit, Rexar?
Or the combat pack.
Yeah, he's got combat. He's got a combat vac. He's got flex, and he's got battle dress. So,
All right, let's go to the bridge and see if anybody managed to survive.
Okay. So you head back the way you came towards the floor, and you get to the iris valve that you believe goes to the bridge, and you see in the floor there's another iris valve. So there's in the floor there's an iris valve that leads down.
Do we open it and drop a smoke grenade in it?
Rexar would know that leads to the first deck where engineering would be.
Oh, so that
Just
person's
that step for
very-
engineering would be.
So it's full of exploded Aslan.
Right. So we know that it's breached there.
All right.
So I'm wondering if it would behoove me to get outside the ship and set up my sniper hide for if there's anybody trying to escape the ship out of like holes in the walls or anything like that.
Make
To
a
make sure they don't get away. That
make
does mean I have to bail on the party, so I don't know if that's a good plan or not.
so Qingxi, make a piloting plus intellect check.
Okay. Nine.
I mean, that's an option for you, but you're thinking that this is one of those crashes that people don't walk away from.
Okay. Well, yeah. If there's a giant hole that was open to atmosphere in the engineering, probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that missile pretty much blew off the back half of the ship, so.
Sure. And when there was a sensor, was there any signs of life in the sensor suite?
Well, there's no real life detection sensors, but I mean there are capabilities like you know you can determine through heat signature and certain science detectors, none of which are on board the Harrier. So you haven't seen any kind of movement or EM coming off of the ship. The ship appears to be dead. The reactor's shut down. There's, emergency power is like at most what is going on. So like you can turn on the coffee pot and maybe a couple of the displays, and that's it on this boat.
Okay. Well, I was thinking I guess I misunderstood. I was assuming that when Captain was doing the sensor scan, she'd be using our sensors.
Well, she was using your sensors, but there's no real
There's no way to check for heat signatures, additional heat signatures that way.
Let me double check. Let me see here.
Okay.
Let me look at what sensors you have. Let's
What
see.
about psionics?
Duh.
You're not picking up anything from psionics. So the Harrier does have advanced sensors, and it does have a military countermeasures suite. Advanced sensors would allow for thermographics. Here's the downside of that, is that because this thing just crashed, through the Atmo and part of it's on fire, that's going to throw your thermals off. But like I said, there's no EM signatures. The ship appears to be dead and on fire.
Okay. I just don't want anybody to jump out from behind a bulkhead and be like, "Rah!"
Right.
I just don't think that's gonna happen. We're good.
Yeah, no, your estimation is that this is not the kind of wreck that people walk away from. In fact, when you were coming up, you saw that the entire bridge windscreen had been blown out from the crash.
Okay.
Oh, shit. That's good.
So you guys open up the iris valve to the bridge, and it is pretty much it confirms what you thought. You see that there are two male Aslans. One is sitting in, or one is sprawled out on the floor, laying in an unnatural manner. He's all kinds of twisted up. The sitting in a chair, strapped into the chair, is a dead Aslan at the astrogator station. So both of these guys are dead.
Mission accomplished. Way to go, crew.
Can I high fives all around? Can I see where the astrogator was planning their jump? Since
Yes, there is emergency power. Go ahead and make an astrogation plus intellect check.
okay.
Or
Just
EDU.
I'm curious where they were headed. 10.
Okay, so you determine that this ship, I mean, according to the astrogation logs, it both came from and was jumping back to Kteiroa, where you had just come from. That's where you are supposed to take the stolen ship to try and help Utea expand their spaceport. And remember, there was you are aware that there is a large amount of iHatei ships on Kteiroa. So, this probably is one of those iHatei warbands.
There'll be a whole bunch more they should if you take the spice mission and take it.
Well, the spice mission's on Tyokh, but I don't know. I mean,
Fifth one.
yeah, I mean, if you expand that spaceport, who knows what can happen.
Mm.
That could go one of two directions. Either you could make a friend and tell them, hey, Drinax is your friend, don't fucking invade us. Or you could say, we don't want that kind of shit on our doorstep, let's not help them in any way. So,
Okay. I need to think on that. That's a good point.
so are you going to download the astrogation logs?
Yes, I would like to download as much from their computers as I can, just as a best practice.
Okay.
What do they know where things are? What, any communications, just everything. I want everything they've got.
Okay. So,
Although I'm probably not the one to make the roll.
yeah, who wants to make the electronics computers check to try and download this data?
I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, you're the one rolling around with the portable computer, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 11?
Yeah. Okay. So you are able to download the astrogation logs and store them on your laptop. And you guys, is there anything else that you want to check on this ship?
I'll go through your email and see what they say behind their back.
Check the browser history.
Well, yeah,
No.
lots of Aslan porn and spam email on cat penis enlargement.
I knew it.
So since they have this like shrine that is presumably to their deities, like Rexar, I don't want us to be like disrespectful and leave like their religious artifacts to be destroyed by radioactive desert. So is there anything we need to bring with us to like properly handle in the shrine?
So the answer to that, so they're not really deities, and stuff in the shrine is really kind of individual and personal to whatever crew is on that ship. But probably if there was an idea of a deity that Aslan follow, it's almost more like Taoist in that Aslan have this belief that the universe is intelligent and acting or moving in a certain direction. And their actions or the way they live their life, they are trying to achieve oneness with moving in the same direction and actions as the universe.
Okay.
So there's nothing really, I mean, Rexar, you would know that stuff in this shrine, it doesn't mean anything to you. It would have been individualistic to the crew of this ship.
Okay. I just wanted to check. It seems like sometimes it's bad karma to leave religious iconography to
Right. Yeah.
melt to the waste.
Yeah. I mean, Keith, go ahead and make a engineering plus intellect or EDU check.
That would be 12.
Okay, so as bad as this crash site is, you're able to determine that if crews from the Floating Palace came down here, they could strip useful parts and equipment from this wreckage. They could salvage stuff, which may not be a terrible idea because as technologically advanced as the Floating Palace seems, they are hurting for a lot of things. So that's one little extra piece of information.
Nice.
So you all get back into the Harrier and make your way back up to the Floating Palace. And King Oleb sees you in his private audience chamber. And again, this private audience chamber, it's like the size of the ice skating rink at Clackamas Town Center. It's just enormous. This is his, quote unquote, this is my private room. And King Oleb kind of, as you come in, he is in a dour mood. I mean, he's never really in a, it's hard, he's hard to press, man. He's like never really in a good mood. But he seems to be drinking excessively as you guys come in, and he kind of looks at you and goes, "So you had to blow up the bloody thing, didn't you? We could have used that ship." And he looks at Rexar, he's the last one to come in. He says, "Shut the bloody door behind you and turn on the God's rutting privacy shield." And you see that, Rexar, you look and you see that there is this holographic display of touch controls, and you can see where to press the button to shut the door, but you're like, I mean, you're an Aslan male, so go ahead and make make an independence plus intellect check.
4.
So you guys look at Rexar, and he's like looking at this pad, and he's like, kind of like when you give your grandmother a smartphone, and she's like, I don't know what to do with this.
I'm pressing random buttons. This one.
So he presses a button, and you can start hearing like classical music start playing really loud. Then the volume goes down. Then the volume goes back up. TVs start turning on. Does somebody want to go help him?
No, this one. This one. No, this is one.
I'm enjoying it.
This one.
Okay. Is someone gonna help him? I can go help if no one else will.
This one.
Okay, sweetie, just I'm gonna take whatever, I'm gonna pull his phone away. You're gonna be like, dude, just give me a second. Okay, yep, good help.
So,
Yep.
Wait, 2 more. Let me try 2 more.
so She goes over, and she's like, she shuts all the extra stuff off, and she hits a button, and it's like when you put active noise canceling headphones on, the room itself, all of it, suddenly goes, and your ears feel like they plug up.
I'm gonna dip into my teacher tool bag and say what I say to my students, which is like, I could tell that you were really passionate about helping. Thank you for being so excited to help. As like I fix it.
Welcome.
Pretty cute. Okay, so
Teacher code for you are no help at all.
It's the S down. I will come around and fix it.
what was that one ship that we recruited and I sent to the space station? Trying to remember which one that was.
You've done a couple. You mean recently?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just that bad.
So there was a far trader, the Susquehallan, that you basically told them they could either join you or you would kill them and set their ship adrift.
So, I'll say, would that make it up for you? Would that be good enough? Plus, we can get parts off the one that we exploded somewhat.
He says, "Well, that is quite generous of you. Yes, that would help me out graciously." He says, "Come over here," and he pours all of you a glass of wine, and he hits a button, and in the middle of this ice rink sized room, a giant hologram comes up. It's a holographic map of the systems nearby. And I shall bring up this map. It kind of looks like travelermap.com, oddly enough. And so it looks like this. And actually, all right, hold on here. I need to zoom in a bit so I can see where I'm going here. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so here is Drinax. Right here. This is Kteiroa. And you see thousands. The holographic images pop out and circle around the planet of Kteiroa. And you see thousands of Aslan warriors gathered in a huge camp. Other images show hundreds of small ships in orbit. You know this because you've been there. And he looks at it and he points and he says, iHatei. He explains, I have received troubling word from the Aslan Herate via the exiled Aslan noble Kteiroa. There are many iHatei, and for those who don't know, they're landless second sons. And he looks at Rex and he goes, no offense intended, kind Rexar. So they've gathered on this icy world of Kteiroa. If a strong leader emerges among them, he might lead the assembled hordes of iHatei and landless males on a wild attack on one of the worlds nearby. A really strong leader might even be able to convince the clans of the Herate to lend their support to the invasion. And Drinax is only 2 parsecs away from Kteiroa. Drinax is not yet strong enough to resist an invasion. I want you to go to Kteiroa and somehow deflect the invasion. You either stop the Aslan from uniting under a leader, or you give them another target. Whatever. This sort of petty micromanaging is below the dignity of a king. You are resourceful sorts, and you can come up with something.
Cut mustard a little.
He says, now I caution you, you must, of course, avoid implicating Drinax, i.e. me, in any underhanded business, or war crimes, or atrocities, or thermonuclear explosions. I don't know what you people get up to, but I can't be a part of it. I also suggest that you may wish to consult with Kteiroa, the exile, or you might not. He's proved relatively dependable, but his past is still a mystery, and I'm loath to trust the safety of my realm to him. He says, finish your wine, plot your course, I don't need to know about it. And he kind of strides off to another end of the chamber.
I want to consult with Kasim before I plot a course.
With Casil?
Oh, Kasil, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So you step outside. Hold on just a second here. Let me go back up to this map. Because it's not like you don't know how to get there. So you come out into 14 here, the court chambers. There are hallways of private rooms, private noble residences, things like that, briefing rooms. You find Casil kind of meandering around, hanging out here. This is what Casil looks like. I'm positive I put him in here. Yes, here he is. And I don't know. My opinion, this is not a great artwork for an Aslan noble, but yeah. It is what it is. That's what he looks like. Casil sees you coming towards him, and he says, "Oh, my friends, is there something that Casil can help you with?"
Yes, I'll relay the basic details of what the king is concerned about.
So Casil tells you, he says, the situation on Kteiroa is delicate. I admit I am an exile from the Harry. If I return to Aslan space, I may draw attention of the ruling clans who will likely dispatch assassins to eliminate me. Still, I have friends in the Harry. And it was those agents who warned me to tell King Oleb about this gathering iHatei on Kteiroa. There must be some reason for the sudden influx of lordless iHatei, some shift in the balance of power between the clans. Aslan politics are notoriously opaque to outsiders, and I was once high in the councils of the ruling Aroyith clan, so even I am a little out of touch. He tells you, he says, he tells you some stuff that you already know. Aslan males or desire land, and it is a biological need for them. Something you know all too well traveling with Rexar. He says, iHatei gather in huge camps. Different iHatei propose different schemes for winning territory. One might advocate joining another clan's war as mercenaries. Another might suggest invading a lightly defended world or striking out for unexplored worlds beyond the Harate. Another might return from a long scouting expedition with word of likely targets. iHatei are wild and unpredictable, but at the same time, they are what drives the expansion of the Harate and all of the clans therein. I make this offer to you to help you in your quest. I have a ship. I could take you to Kteiroa under the guise of being, how would you say, Aslan hangers-on. Humans are sometimes allowed into the camps to help with technical issues. You could disguise yourselves as such going into the camp, and my ship would give you an air of, say, responsibility and authority. That
is a good plan.
So you like that idea?
Yeah, I mean, that's better than all of our ships are kind of associated with this area right now.
Yeah, and the Harrier would kind of stick out like a sore thumb.
Definitely.
Okay.
So,
We will pick this up next week with you taking Casil to his ship and sneaking over back to Kteiroa and sneaking into the iHatei camps.
So while that is happening, are we getting one of the fleet to take the drive to the world?
So it hasn't been a week yet. It has only been maybe a day and a half. It hasn't even been a day. This has all happened the day that you jumped back in.
How do we get those orders to them so that they're on the way? So it's not like, wait a week, it's made, drive a week, they get the message.
Yeah, it's going to be like 2 weeks for you to jump from Drinax back to the world at the least. Probably more like 4 weeks. Yeah, it's up to you. If you could have the part delivered as a care package, or you can go back to the world later and take care of it yourself. How do you guys want to handle that?
Well, I leave it up to the captain. I was just wondering if there was a shortcut we could take, but
You could just have the part delivered.
Curiosity about the world means she's going to want to go.
I mean, I know the captain wants to go to the world and rip the Band-Aid off, but I mean, honestly, you could probably do that at any point.
alright, yeah, we'll deal with this crap first. It's more pressing, and then we'll go to the world and rip the Band-Aid off and see what happens.
So you're just going to have the part delivered? Is
I
that...
think it makes sense to have the part delivered as soon as possible so that they don't explode.
Right, yeah, yeah, that would be good.
We could go back there. We could go back there some other time and try and pass the message, like when it's convenient. So, all right, we can have it delivered. Okay.
Okay, so Qingxi, you can mark that one off your list. It will be delivered.
We slayed the potential clan on Drinax. Check. We took care of the ship part for the world. Check. So we still have the spice run, and whether or not we're going to deliver a 4-ton ship to Kteiroa for their spaceport.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's it. Cool.
All right,
Okay.
we will pick this up next week. I will see you at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. And we will hear all about what you get on Wednesday, I'm sure.
Enjoy, and I hope you enjoy like snowy but only pleasantly snowy Christmases.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay. It can snow 9 feet for like 3 days. I'm good.
No.
I've got whiskey. I'm good.
Enough for like the Christmas card picture moment.
Just a little bit of 12 feet would be okay.
That's exactly how it'll be. I know it.
All right, take care.
Have a good one, guys. Have a good night. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.